My name is Jack Murray, and I serve as the Vice President for Partnerships and Operations at Boston Harbor Now. On behalf of the entire Boston Harbor Islands Partnership and the team that has put this together, we'd like to welcome you here today as we kick off the 25th anniversary celebration of the designation of the Boston Harbor Islands National and State Park. It is also the 50th anniversary of the state park. Before we begin, however, I would like to take a moment. Many of you may not be aware, but we would like to acknowledge the fact that we are on the ancestral territory of the Massachusetts tribe, who have lived on and cared for this land and water for thousands of years, and who continue to live here and care for this place today. Today, as I said, we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the designation of the park. And as the nonprofit partner of the Boston Harbor Islands Partnership, we're really excited to be here with all of you. Everything that Boston Harbor Now does, we do in partnership with others, with public agencies, with communities, with private organizations, and other nonprofits. We also plan to advocate for and activate Boston's waterfront and its islands. And each year, we work to provide more than 40,000 free access opportunities to kids and families to get out there and visit this wonderful, great resource that we have at our disposal. Our programs are designed to reflect the people who visit this park, from Anchorage to Chinatown to Provincetown. This park belongs to all of you. This park belongs to everyone. I am honored here today to be joined by several of my colleagues from the Boston Harbor Islands Partnership, and I will be introducing a couple of them in a moment, but I would like to specifically call out and introduce Nick Black from the Trustees of Reservation, Rob Moore from the CAC, Commander Miles Greenway from the United States Coast Guard, and also other fellow partnerships, Connor LeBlanc from Massport. It is also my great pleasure I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge some elected representatives here who work very hard for all of you every day to provide the support at both City Hall and the State House to be able to maintain and operate these beautiful resources we have. And I'd like to just take a moment and ask Chairman Erin Michlewitz if you'd like to come up and say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'll be brief. I just want to say congratulations to the parks for their 50th and 25th anniversary. It's nice how we lined it up perfectly like that, so we can do this all in one day. But it's I think representing downtown Boston, I always say that national parks, just parks in general, open space is so critical to my constituency. We don't have backyards. And so we want to maintain and love them as much as we can possibly do that. And that includes the Boston Harbors Alliance and the Boston Harbor parks and everything. It is places that we need to continue to put resources in. We need to continue to treat as just like they were right here in front of us on the mainland here. So it's something that I'm proud that we work with everyone behind me here to do that from the state resources perspective, but also from the city as well. We have some colleagues from the city as well. So thank you all for the continued work that you do to do that. And I think that the line that we see right here is evidence of exactly how important today is, because people do love taking the time to take the boat ride out there. So thank you for having me, and congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's also my great honor to introduce a great friend, not only a great personal friend, but also a great friend to our organization, who works hard every day to represent his district, which comes right up to the Marriott here, City Council President Ed Flynn.
Thank you, Jack. I'm honored to be here with my colleagues in government, including Councilor Erin Murphy, of course, Erin Michlewitz, the chairman, and Reverend Chief Hammond as well, and so many others. But what I wanted to say is thank you to the wonderful partnership. It's really a city, state, and federal partnership in making sure that our islands in Boston Harbor is inclusive, it's welcoming to everybody. And what I really like about Boston Harbor now is they're welcoming so many people that have never been to the ocean, that have never been to the harbor, including kids from Roxbury and Chinatown in the South End, immigrant families as well. So I just want to say thank you to this wonderful city, state, and federal partnership, and I hope everyone has a good day today. Thank you.
So I'd like to take a moment to welcome City Councilor at Large, Erin
Murphy, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you to everyone here and my colleagues in government, because I always say we live in a coastal city. I grew up swimming in Boston Harbor, and my uncle would bring us out to the islands and would camp overnight, so I have great memories growing up. And now, and as a school teacher, we'd always love when we'd get permission to take our kids on field trips to these islands. They're such a gem to our city, but so many of our residents don't have the ability or know how to access them. So I'm advocating along with my colleagues to make sure that this waterfront is equitable for everyone, and that we're also making it inclusive and great and accessible. So thank you so much. I'm excited for this anniversary, knowing that we'll continue to support our harbor, our waterfront, and work together. So thank you, and have a great day enjoying the water.
Thank you, Councilor. Would also like to take a moment to just introduce and say hello and thank you for coming. State Senator John Keenan. We refer to the Boston Harbor Islands as the Boston Harbor Islands, but in fact, that the park boundary extends all the way down to Hull and as far north as Lynn and Salem. And thank you very much for coming out. The Senator represents Quincy, and he's also been a great friend to the park. I'd like to now just introduce our chairman of the partnership, Fred Laskey. Also serves as the executive director of the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority. He works every day, he and his team, to keep this beautiful harbor clean. He has dedicated his entire career to public service, and we're certainly grateful for his friendship, Fred.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. As the great comedian Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. And how sweet it is that we're sitting here with cloud cover, for me anyway, they're not in the boiling sun, but we're here to celebrate really what has been an incredible success story. You know, there are some people who think, oh, government can't make things happen, government can't do this or that. This is an example of collaboration, long-term vision, support from the elected officials, and we end up here today with probably 1,000 people in line to go out to the islands. And when these parks started, it's important to realize that they were basically neglected. Every kind of negative operation you could imagine was out on those islands, from prisons to glue factories, and I could go on and on and on. And now it's vibrant, it's alive, and as has been discussed, the access that is available to people to go out and enjoy it. You know, you don't have to go to New Hampshire. You don't have to go. For folks who don't have the ability, you can come right down here. You can take the T down, and off you go and enjoy your day, live out in nature. I'd just like to reflect a little bit personally on this. 50 years is a long time. And I remember as a kid, my dad was in the Army and was stationed over at the Army base down towards the seaport. And he, on occasion, if it was a slow day, he'd take us in there, my brothers and I, while he did his work. But I remember driving home one night, coming down from South Boston. Everything was deserted. All the warehouses, the docks. You came around Atlantic Avenue, all the way down over into Charlestown, and it was all abandoned. The warehouses were built. The city was built with its back to the ugly, smelly water. And today, I had the opportunity the other day to ride down through, and the vibrance and the economic activity and the excitement of this waterfront is incredible. And I just take a pitch for my team that we really, as Jack said, the women and the men at the MWRA take great pride in their part in leading to this day, and they do work hard every day. And I'd like to say that they are the true environmentalists and because they really work hard to maintain this great asset, which is known as the Boston Harbor Islands. With that, it's my great pleasure to introduce someone who needs no introduction, Priscilla Geigis. She is an expert and wears many hats, and whatever she touches and it does it well. So, Priscilla?
Well, good morning. My name is Priscilla Geigis. I'm the Deputy Commissioner for the Department of Conservation and Recreation, and I'm so thrilled to be here today to kick off this anniversary. I mean, how many times do you get to celebrate the golden and the silver anniversary all at once? It's truly great. DCR stewards close to 500,000 acres for the people of the Commonwealth all across the Commonwealth, and the Boston Harbor Islands are part of that. And these are not only a state treasure, but as you know, they're a national treasure. So since this is an anniversary, I wanted to just give you a little glimpse of its past and a few highlights that has transformed it over the years. So for thousands of years, the islands were used by indigenous peoples of the area for seasonal gardening, fishing, and shellfishing. And as Jack acknowledged, they are the first stewards, and they continue to steward the islands along with all of us. Spectacle and Rainsford actually had quarantine stations. Long Island and Bumpkin had hospital facilities. The islands were used for harbor defense, moving from wooden forts in the 16 and 1700s to stone forts in the 1800s to concrete gun batteries and installations across many of the islands in the first half of the 20th century. And then in 1893, the Metropolitan Park Commission proposed public recreation access to the Boston Harbor Islands. In 1970, the Boston Harbor Island State Park was effectively authorized by bonding legislation and later was dedicated and managed as by DCR's predecessor agencies as the Boston Harbor Island State Park. And over the years, the Commonwealth has invested millions of dollars to preserve and improve the islands so that visitors can experience and enjoy these really special places. So I just wanted to mention a few of those improvements over the years, and that was making major site improvements to George's Island, a visitor center, exhibits, enlarged bathroom, a concession area, a maintenance facility. We're currently working on additional safety measures for Fort Warren and stabilization with the National Park Service. Improvements to Pettix Island were the demolition and stabilization of some of the military buildings. Also a beautiful visitor center out there, beautiful wooden chapel, and of course the ever popular yurt camping that we have. And partnerships, as Fred said, is really what the Boston Harbor Islands is all about. And we are so thrilled to be here with all of our partners to celebrate this anniversary. And it's really exciting to see all of the recreational opportunities that are happening on the islands now, from, camping in the yurts, people bringing their kayaks, pulling up on shore, hiking, photography, going to concerts, all those wonderful things, and school groups coming out to see the islands. And I remember, I won't tell you the year, but when I was in junior high, we went to George's Island for our field trip, and it was really fascinating and fun. So accessibility to the islands and on the islands has been a major focus of ours over the years. The moorings program off of Spectacle and George's and Pettix provides an increased opportunity for people to get access, recreational boaters to get access to the islands. As I mentioned, the yurts is a great opportunity for first-time campers to be out there. And we're actually thrilled that there is such a tremendous turnout today for the Free Ferry Days, which happens all the time with the Free Ferry Days. And we're so grateful with our partnership with Boston Harbor Now and all of our partners to be able to bring these Free Ferry Days and give people an opportunity to experience these special places. And as we look to the future, we continue to plan ways to make the islands more accessible to our visitors and also to operate the islands more environmentally sustainable. And we continue to work on ways to reduce energy consumption and our reliance on fossil fuels through retrofits and installation of solar panels. And we're also considering how climate change will impact the islands for years to come and how they can be used as a living laboratory to address climate change. and we'll continue to work with our partners to preserve these unique public spaces for all to enjoy. So we're honored to be here to celebrate 50 and 25 years. The power of partnership is on full display today. I want to thank our partners for our ongoing stewardship. And now I want to introduce my friend and colleague, the Superintendent of the National Parks of Boston, who the minute that he came here has been looking for ways to bring federal dollars to programs and to infrastructure improvements. And he and I co-chaired the steering committee for the Anniversary Committee this year, and it is so thrilling to be here with all of you and to especially be here with the teams for programming, engagement, and communications who work so incredibly hard to bring us to this day and to launch this anniversary. So let me introduce to you Michael Creasey.
Thanks, Priscilla. Wow, what a day. I mean, thousands of people when you show up and you're just seeing the lines of people. Like, I think it's a true testament to like the power of place and to these Boston Harbor Islands. It's just amazing. I think it's also a testament to see who's standing with me and to have, you know, our members of the legislature, city council members that have been always so supportive, and the state senate. Thank you all so much for being here and participating with us. Let me just give a big shout out to Fred Laskey. Fred's been the chairman, and I when I first got here, as Priscilla said, we didn't have a chairman, and I called Fred, and he said, "Sure, what do I have to do?" And I said, "It's a light load, Fred."
One meeting a month.
Yeah, he's never let me forget that. But really, to all the partnership, all of you make things happen in such an incredible collaborative way. It's very powerful to see, and that vision is truly what we see today as we go out to the Harbor Islands. You know, 25 years ago, this idea of a national park in Boston Harbor was really just a dream, and it just was starting to take shape. And as Fred indicated, the harbor went from one of the most polluted to one of the cleanest in America. People envisioned a new type of national park, not one like Yellowstone, but one that really brought people together. There's 34 islands and peninsulas in the harbor. How do we bring them together in a way that really ensures that the harbor and the islands would be the crown jewel of Boston's coastal landscape? Today is about celebrating the accomplishments that have gone into the harbor cleanup and the creation of the national and state park, but it's also about looking forward. How might we make the islands more accessible to all people? How might we offer programs and outdoor experiences to people that live in urban areas that have never been on a boat, have never camped outdoors? Our goal is for people to really enjoy and find their better nature. This partnership did some experiments this year, and one of them was to establish a mini grant system or process whereby community members of all sorts could apply to the partnership to tell us what they would like to see in terms of their programs out on the Harbor Islands. It was amazing. We received over 50 applicants, those looking to enjoy hiking, those looking to enjoy dance and music and song, those looking to enjoy fishing, those just looking to get outdoors and have a picnic. It was incredible, the response we got, and it'll be really fun to see how those experiences play out now as well as in the future. Thank you. Free Ferry Day is just one of the ways that the Boston Harbor Islands Partnership supports equitable access to these public lands. Opening Day kicks off a season of summer programming that will be welcoming, educational, and fun. It should be a great day. And congratulations to everybody on the partnership. Thank you to everybody that has come today to enjoy this day as well as to celebrate these anniversaries. I'd really like to honor and to introduce a new partnership member that's representing the city of Boston. She's becoming quite a good friend of the Harbor Islands and certainly in the city as it represents all people related to parks and open spaces. and that is Reverend Mariama White-Hammond. She is the Chief of Environment, Energy, and Open Space. Mariama?
Thank you, Michael.
So they put the preacher last, maybe in hopes that I wouldn't stay up here too long. Wanted to say thank you to everyone. It's a real joy to be out here. We're thankful for the cloud cover that is protecting us from the scorcher that's on the way. But it's really exciting to celebrate this 25th and 50th anniversary, because in so many ways, the islands represent the best of humanity's relationship with Mother Earth. For thousands of years, the indigenous people stewarded that space and used it as a place to connect, to live, to work. And now, as you see, thousands of us are out here trying to get an opportunity to spend time on that land, to hike, to pass time with family, to have a picnic. The Harbor Islands make so many of those things possible. But it's also worth acknowledging that the islands also represent some of our deepest challenges. It was on those islands that we created spaces to inter and detain indigenous folks. It is on those islands that sometimes we had industrial uses that were not so appropriate and represent our challenging relationship with nature. And so I hope that when folks are out there, they will hear the whispers of all these things. The laughter of people playing and making memories, the voices of our ancestors, beckoning us to do better, to change our ways, and to lean into the important opportunities we have in this moment more than ever. I oversee the Environment, Energy, and Open Space Cabinet, and within that I also get the opportunity to oversee historic preservation for the city of Boston. And what many people do not necessarily know is that the islands are rich with archaeological heritage, much of which remains there, out of respect for the people who were there. But the reality is that now, because of climate change, the islands are eroding in some challenging ways. And so we have to make decisions about how to protect all of that heritage. How do we protect the natural land? How do we protect those archaeological resources? And so our office is working with the Massachusetts tribe to actually look at those sites and figure out how many of them we can save. Do we lift the articles out of the ground? How do we display them? How do we connect with them? Who should own them? Where should they sit? These are tough and challenging questions. But I think that they offer us an opportunity to really lean into who we are and who we have been and how we want to be in the future. So on this hot day, we hope that people who are heading out have plenty of sunscreen, because we don't think these clouds are going to be with us all day today. And we hope that you're going to drink water, and I see many people in light clothing, so that's good. Hats, glad to see them. It's going to get warm. But we also offer gratitude to the islands because in many ways, even as they are impacted by our decisions that have created climate change, they are also even now protecting us. They are out there as a barrier sometimes for the waters that might be coming to us. They are cooling the area, and I think people will be able to experience that. So I'm grateful to be here, grateful to the islands, grateful to Mother Earth for what she provides us, and grateful to work with all of these folks to continue the stewardship, to continue to learn from the land, so that hopefully 50 more years from now, there'll be another cast of characters out here talking about what the islands mean to them and seeing even more people line up excited to visit this important treasure. So we're thankful to all of you who came to hear us, and even more of you who came to really just get those ferry tickets, which is probably the more important thing. But this is an example, exactly as Fred Laskey said, of the kind of partnership that can happen when people imagine something beautiful and powerful can emerge, and then dig in and work together to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend, for your very poignant remarks and for reminding us of those important aspects of history that are too often and sometimes conveniently forgotten. Before we close, I'd like to just take a moment to thank our boat company today, Boston Harbor Cruises. They are donating all of the excursions today. They've been a long-time partner. Yes, give it up. They've got the largest fleet in the harbor, and they've been doing it for over 100 years, and we are grateful to have their support. Also, thank you to all of the staff who have been working so hard for almost a year and putting this day together, in addition to all of the events that we have planned for the year coming up. Jen, your team over at DCR, and Kristen and Liz, and at BHN, Rebecca and Liza, your teams over at MPS. Thank you very much. Leah at Maria at MWRA, and Connor, and everybody. Finally, I'd just like to say, last year, the Boston Harbor Islands National and State Park was designated by the National Trust for Historic Preservation as one of 11 most endangered places in our entire country. And that designation was as a result of threats due to climate change and sea level rise. And so we are grateful to all of you today who have joined us in this collective stewardship of this beautiful resources. And thank you for helping us to promote and protect the precious cultural, recreation, natural resources. As Michael said, go find your nature today. Wear sunscreen, hydrate, have fun. Thank you very much.